Hello everybody. You join me on what is quite frankly a very dark and gloomy day in the studio. This change in weather is making me feel a little bit sluggish, which is really appropriate actually. I am joining Peachtober this year and I believe it's today's prompt that is the word slug. I've decided to set myself the extra challenge of making every single prompt into a food or drink packaging theme. So some of the words really lend themselves to that and others not so much. But I've actually been really excited to do today's prompt. You might be thinking, slug, what on earth is Charlie going to create that is both cute and to do with food or drink packaging and slugs? Well, my answer to that is pickles. Because let's be honest, pickles, they do kind of look like slugs, don't they? Hopefully later today I can create something cute with that. I'm intending on every single piece, sort of making it as a bit of a sticker design. I don't know if I'll be selling all of them because, let's be honest, it's a daily drawing challenge. I'm going to be working quickly with them. Some of them are going to land, some of them aren't, but all of the favourites I am going to be sort of doing a limited run in my shop. And I know a lot of people have already been messaging me to ask when these will be available. Guys, we're 2 days into it. I'm so happy that you are so excited about this project, but I am going to need a little bit of time, especially since I had my launch last Friday. My launch last week went better than I could ever have dreamed of, in all honesty. People who have shared my work, people who have ordered my work, people leaving lovely comments. I'm absolutely blown away. Thank you so much, everybody. I ended up having 8 orders over that first weekend, and the majority of those came in the first afternoon. I'm so thankful for everybody who placed an order, and I posted them on Wednesday, so everybody should be receiving them now. I've had a few little comments from people who have been so excited to receive their orders already. It just means the world to me that you're all enjoying it. I've also had Kiara place another order because she was getting so much FOMO about not ordering the print the first time round. So yeah, she's placed another order already. Thank you so much, Kiara. In terms of bestsellers, it's gotta be the ramen bowl and also, of course, the sticker sheet. I'd originally made a lot of stock up front and I've already had to do more because they had sold out of everything that I'd created already, which absolutely just I was not expecting at all. There were a few sticker designs that didn't sell at all. Now that's not to say they're not going to sell in the future. This guy, my wobbly pudding, didn't sell any wobbly puddings, and I didn't sell any of the spicy chilies either. So I've definitely felt the benefits of being able to print my stickers at home. Originally, this collection, I had the intentions of outsourcing everything. It was before I got my size of Juliet, so I was intending on outsourcing the prints, which I have done. They're giclée printed and the quality is just so beautiful. But because I was planning on outsourcing the stickers and the sticker sheet as well, originally I had only decided to do one sticker design, but I had so many ideas in my mind that I wanted to execute, and I'm a bit risk averse, as you may have gathered already. So the idea of placing a huge order and you don't know what's going to sell was so scary to me, which is why I invested in the Sizer Juliet. I've had so much fun making things at home. To be able to just try lots of different designs out and see what sticks, pardon the pun, was just so much better for me and my business. So I'm so pleased that I decided to make that investment. Also, with the whole Peachtober idea, I could do a limited run on several different sticker designs that I do over this coming month. Again, see, just try things out. Have things on limited runs without the pressure of I need to sell all of this because I've spent so much money up front. With that being said, I am a perfectionist. As I was printing things out, I wanted to experiment more with colours. I was being very, very picky. So where I originally did some strawberries that are a little bit more red in colour, I really wanted to make them just like a touch more pink. This one's a little bit off cut, so please ignore that. But this is the original colourway of the strawberry mochi. He's just a touch darker than the actual final result, which is slightly more pink. Got a huge pile of these red ones. They're ever so slightly off centre as well, but nothing that a little scalpeling can't fix, or at least I'm going to try to. I am taking part in the Rebels Seconds sale. Guys, I used to have a lisp. Rebel Jones is holding a seconds sale event. It's running from Friday the 10th of October through to the Sunday the 12th of October. And of course Beck will be taking part, but also lots of her patrons as well. And yeah, I'm also taking part in it. I'm just going to call these strawberry ones colour variants because there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. It's just that they're not the final design. Also in the second sale, I have uploaded some Fungi Friends sticker sheets. Now these sticker sheets are actually waterproof. Yes, they are a waterproof vinyl. This was from when I used to get my stickers sheets outsourced, and when outsourcing anything, you usually get some like B grade products, sometimes C, sometimes D, sometimes Z. Anything that I didn't think was worth selling, I just used the stickers myself to decorate water bottles and things like that. But these three, I would say these are B grade. Some of them I can barely see anything wrong with them looking at them now. I think this is the one that's got the most wrong with it, so I'm going to show you. Now, can you see anything wrong with that? That there. That's the only thing wrong with it. The stickers are completely unaffected on these three sheets. That's it. There's like a couple of scuff marks on the backing sheet itself. I'm assuming from where it went through like a roller or something. A tiny blemish down here. So I'm offering these at a hugely discounted price, just because I think they're still worth going to somebody's home. I'm sure that there's somebody out there who will really enjoy these sticker sheets, and they're just sat in my plastic wallet at the minute. Now, whoever gets these, it's an absolute bargain because there's absolutely nothing wrong with these two sheets. The only difference is that I updated the font on my handle down the bottom so they don't match the listing photo. That's the only difference. Other than that, they're absolutely perfect. So if you want 50% off a sticker sheet and you don't care that the handle is my handwriting and not a crisper font, there you go, 50% off a sticker sheet. And these aren't the only things that are going to be discounted in the second sale. I'm still running my sale on the majority of the prints in my shop. It's a clearance sale, it's 50% off. I've adjusted my prices ever so slightly, so I'm worried that some people are going to think that like, oh, I've upped them just to do like 50% off. That's not the case. It's because I've reduced my shipping costs. So I've had to factor that into the actual listing price. It was basically while I did this shop update, I thought that it made much more sense to lower the price of shipping so that when people are like ordering an A5 print, for example, and some stickers, they're not having to spend £5 on shipping. So I've upped the prices on my larger scale prints to sort of factor that in, really. So across the board, all shipping is just £1.99. Then anything that is like much more expensive to actually post, like my A3 tubes or like my A4 large letter envelopes, that's factored in to the listing price instead. I'm going to spend a bit of time now just using my scalpel to tidy up the edges of this so they're not so off center. This reminds me a lot of when I first started working at Make Believe Ideas. This was before we had like a mock-up team. We used to do our own mock-ups. So if we'd worked on sample material to send to customers, we'd basically make the cover and some sample spreads up as if it was an actual book. And we'd get the scalpels out and the double-sided tape, So yeah, I feel like it's been a while since I've done this kind of thing, but hopefully we won't lose any fingers today. I think they're looking so cute. Two of them are borderless and 3 have like a really minor border on them. So those 5 alongside the 2 perfectly cut red variant stickers. Yeah, I think that's a decent amount really. I don't know if it's the gloomy dark weather today or what, but I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed by everything on my to-do list, not gonna lie. I noticed my energy was dropping, so I decided to go and have myself some lunch, and I've gone a bit rogue with my drink today. I've gone for a hot chocolate. It is so miserable outside. Kiara has ordered the A5 mochi print and also the vending machine sticker sheet. I'm really pleased that people are enjoying the A5 print size. I very nearly didn't order any A5s. I was going to keep it to A4s and A3 sizes like I usually do. But I'm thinking with something like this, people would love to just have them up on their walls, like by their desks, that kind of thing. So the nice sort of dinky size I think works really well for it. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of with this collection has to be the sticker sheet. I really wanted to do something that was a little bit different to everything else out there. Usually my sticker sheets are kind of like your standard design, right? You've got the banner with the title at the top, handles down the bottom, and all the stickers in the middle. And I think this works really well for that larger size. But where I had the sort of like dinky little stickers plus one big one, I really wanted to kind of push the design a little bit. And I think the whole vending machine design works really well with the theme. Like you're going to your own little sticker vending machine and you're selecting which one you're going to use in your planner that day. Let's see, dispatch date today, complete order. I will drop that off in the post box on my way to pick up the kids. Let's pickle some slugs, shall we? My favourite part about any illustration is probably the colouring stage. I've always been fascinated with colour and what colours work together and what ones don't. I love it when you kind of come across a colour that's kind of works a bit unexpected. I have a loose idea of where I want to go most of the time, but I also don't like being too prescriptive anymore. I used to work with a very limited colour palette and I would very rarely stray from it for any piece that I did. But as I've sort of grown a little bit more confident, I realised that it's okay to sort of venture out a little bit more. I used to be so fixated on having my style, finding my style, what does my style look like, if I'm not kind of producing the same kind of colour palette every time, are people going to realise that it's me? As I've got older, I've come to realise that actually I shouldn't get so hung up on these things, because my style is going to change and evolve over time. If it's the same colour palette throughout the years, it will get a little bit boring. And instead of focusing so much on style, I should really be putting my efforts more into learning what my taste is. Because at the end of the day, any piece that I create, if I'm happy with it, it's because it aligns with my own personal taste. So rather than getting so fixated on, is this my style and what do I want my style to be like, I just try and have a little bit more fun with it now. My illustration teacher at university, a very, very wise man called Ian Newsham, he always said that if you're not enjoying it, you're doing it wrong. And it's something that I stand by to this day. I feel like you're never going to enjoy the creative process 100% of the time. But I do feel like when I am enjoying creating something, it usually means that I'm on the right track. And you can always tell when somebody is truly passionate about what they're doing. It does show in their work versus someone who's just creating something because it's trending, but they don't actually care for the theme at all. You can always tell. Which is why I wanted to set myself the additional challenge this Peachtober of doing everything within the kind of food and drink packaging theme. I think it presents this extra little challenge, so I'm not kind of going with the obvious choice for every illustration. Without this theme, I probably would have just created a very cute illustration of a slug, yes, but I don't think I would have been as inventive with it as I am being with this. And I really want my work to have some humour in there. So using these really random prompts with a theme that doesn't necessarily align as being like the first thing that you'd think of is a jar of pickles when you hear the word slug. But I think the end result's going to be something much more fun. So the way I like to colour my illustrations, I like to just sort of lay down some flat colours first. And these colours aren't necessarily going to be the final colours. I just want to block out my basic shapes. I use a texture overlay. It's a really sort of grainy texture, and I think it just has that like hand-drawn look a little bit more. It also then adds a bit more sort of colour variety in there naturally without me having to actually manually do it. It feels a bit more like you're working traditionally, which is something that I really enjoy the look of in my work. So I'm using my mochi and dumpling colour palette just to put my base colours down, and then I'll probably go into hue and saturation and tweak things a bit as I go. So I'm making sure that things are all on separate layers. I like to use quite a few different brushes in my work. I've kind of narrowed down my favourites that I always lean back on. I edit them ever so slightly, but they are from Jessica Elena. I will link her shop in the description, but she has some lovely sort of charcoal-y style brushes, painterly brushes. I really, really enjoy working with them. I was on the hunt for something like this for so long where, yes, it adds texture, but it's still really crisp. Okay, that red on the green is really jarring, so I'm gonna just make that pink instead. Oh, I like the pink and the green. I'm also using a brown rather than a solid black, which I think makes things a little bit softer. Let's put a few more charcoal-y details on him to make him look almost a bit pickle-like. Let's do the little bumps. Oh my gosh, this is... Look at that. That is hilarious. I also want to add that kind of detailing into the text as well. Let me have a look. I don't know if yellow is the right colour here, so I'm just going to use my hue and saturation slider. Maybe a blue. Pale blue. Oh yeah, okay. Ooh. Purple is an interesting choice. I quite like that. I found this brush the other day. It's a photocopy sketch. It's part of the Max pack, and it's just like an inky, really unpredictable brush, but in the nicest way. You know when like you've used paper that's a little bit wet by accident and it's kind of screws up a little bit? I've really enjoyed using it as kind of like a liner brush, because I really don't want things to be too perfect. I finished my illustration and it's possibly my favourite one so far. I had so much fun creating it. My camera obviously ran out of battery halfway through, but I had a lovely time sort of experimenting with colours, using that sort of hue and saturation slider to adjust things as I went. I used a couple new brushes. I had a lot of fun, and I'm ahead of schedule again. This one took so much less time than anticipated. I think because I had such a clear vision of what I wanted to do before I started. Thank you so much for joining me in the studio today. If you did make it to the end of this video, please leave a pickle emoji in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.